hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika, y'all. Get on in here, okay? Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. Baby, let me tell y'all, Queen Sugar. Y'all trying to raise my daggone blood pressure up. Y'all are trying to take your girl out, okay? It was too much happening in this episode. Like, stop it, all right? Protect Darla. I don't need her slipping back into, remission and depression and going into drugs and alcohol or whatever else. We don't want that, Michael, what the heck are you doing? Why are you chasing these daggone people down, acting like they so important? I'm not getting it, you know what I'm saying? I need some daggone answers, honey. We can't even sit down and have a meal before they coming in and interrupting and disrupting and just... Like, can the borderlines just have a break? Can they have one day of peace, one day when stuff is not going on? Child, okay? This is Queensugar, you guys. This is my review recap for Queensugar. What kinds of, okay? Season 7, episode 5. Baby, let's get into this because it was a hot mess. It was a lot going on. Now, we started out this episode, we always know that Nova has a connection when it comes to the ancestors. She's very spiritual and all of that. And she's basically having this dream that just feels so real. She gets up and she goes in the kitchen. Her mother and father's there. She's like, I can't believe y'all are here. I wish Ralph Angel could see y'all. Her dad is telling her we can't be here long. It's, the cane season or whatever, and she literally feels like she can reach out and touch them, and I know how it is to have those type of dreams that feel so real. And she wakes up with tears in her eyes and basically, hugging on the daggone covers when she just literally was holding on to her mama's hand, and her mama was telling her, you know what to do. You always have known what to do, right? And so she kind of takes this as a sign with, the land, I guess probably with the book and the movie and all of that stuff, right? That she's going to make the right decision and just, letting her know that they got her back. And so it's emotional, it's sad, and it probably gives her like a little bit of sense of peace at the same time, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. What we gonna have going on, to start the episode off like this? Now, she also has a missed call from Dominic, right? And he's saying, I'll call you tomorrow. And, the receptionist spotty, she's basically texting back with him or whatever, right? And just saying, thank you. And then he sends her this picture and she's like, whoa, okay. He says, your turn. And she basically says, absolutely not, right? And she basically texts him back like, no way, I'm a mess or whatever, right? But he don't give a daggone whether she's a mess or not. You know what I'm saying? He still want to see his boo thing. And I ain't mad at him, for that. But she does let him know that she miss him much or whatever, right? And, he just was like one pick, okay? Like, come on now. I don't give a daggone. I'll see you anyway. I know how you look type of thing, right? And so she does end up, taking the pick or whatever, right? And so then we have, Ralph Angel saying that this insurance money finally came in, right? He's on the phone with Charlie. He's putting her up to speed. He's telling her, don't worry about nothing. He got it. Even if he don't got it, he's not going to want to have Charlie worrying about it. He knows that she's out here on this campaign. He wants her to go ahead and focus on this speech and, call it a day. And so when he hangs up, Darla's letting him know, like, that they still having a little trouble. Things are still tight, right? And he says he can't imagine the fact that Charlie's out here campaigning and trying to, focus on things with the mill. And so Darla's pretty much like, speaking of the mill, I was just thinking about it. And, she put so much work into it or whatever the case may be, right? And it's been almost 2 years since the fire. And she basically was like, it's crazy how... I don't know how people are supposed to even make it and be able to carry on when we got these insurance people that be dragging their feet the way that they do. And she basically was saying to him that, she really feels like stuff is bad, okay? It's still a little crazy for them, right? Even though they have accomplished a lot of things, even with the CSA earnings or whatever, right, and without the crops and land and all of that kind of stuff, they're still deep in the red, basically. That's what it boils down to. And so she was like, you know, she also was thinking about, you know, maybe with Charlie being gone, that they should go ahead and talk to her and see if she would be willing to put the mill into the co-op, right? Make it a part of that. She's been talking about selling. She's been talking about divesting and all of that kind of stuff. And the worst she could say is no, but she really thinks this is a good idea. And he was like, well, that would be a loss to her. She's like, she's already at a loss, and at least it would be back into the community, because that's really what she wanted to do anyway, right? That was her original intention. And so he was saying who would take care of it, and she was like, you know, we would. And he was like, it's not operational. So she was like, listen, we could just hold it on the books. You know what I'm saying? It's worth something. You actually is worth a lot. And so he was like, you know, she said she see a future and potential there. So he was like, you know, all right, I see you coming through with the ideas. You know, I hear you. It's a good idea, whatever the case may be, right? So they could go ahead and speak to her about that. Now, in the meantime, you know, Micah, with his freaking, I don't even understand this right now. You know, he posted up this daggone thing of his mom, of course, with the whole thing when she first caught his dad out there on the basketball court. And, you know, you see him debating, like, if he's thinking about whether to delete it or not. And basically, Nova's calling him at the same time, and she's saying, where are you? You know, you leaving me alone to prep for this gathering. You forgot, didn't you? And he's like, no, I didn't forget anything, right? And he's gonna lie and say he was walking out the door now. And she's like, all right, don't forget the fried catfish and the extra sauce, because that's Darla's favorite. And she's kind of like, Micah, you listening to me? Because, of course, you know, she ain't getting no response, because he's still over here thinking about, you know, what he done did. And he like, I got you. I'm going to see you soon. So he's looking at it again, and the bids is steadily going up. It was like 23,000 at first. And then when he clicked on it, it went to like 43,000 and I think 53,000. It was just basically saying, you know, you can't delete right now, and able to delete right now, try later, right? So I'm like, Micah, you just as bad as Nova, if not worse than Nova right now at this point, right? To do something like that to your mother, and on top of it, knowing that she's on the campaign trail, and knowing that it took a long time for your mother and father to move past this, and they had actually got back together, child. So nonetheless, you know, we seeing Aunt vibe with Baby True. She like, of course, you know what I'm saying, your parents don't never make sure you got a clean diaper before they get up out of here. And the boys is running through, and she's like, you know, what I tell you about that running, stop running, please, okay? And Hollywood over here just as bad as them running too. She like, Hollywood, what are you doing? Like, he's like, I'm sorry, they excited and they trying to put together this carburetor, whatever. So she tells Hollywood she want to speak to him for a minute. And little Dante was like, ooh, you in trouble. So he come in the room and he's like, what's wrong? And she's just basically letting him know, like, don't get attached to these boys. You don't know how long we're going to have them. You know, they could get returned any day now. And he was like, look, I know and you're right. But at the same time, we know how this system is broken. So it may not be, you know what I'm saying, that fast. We might have to be also looking at the flip side of that, that they could be here for a long time. And we always been kind of talking about doing fostering or whatever, right? So maybe this is our chance, and this is basically how it starts. And she was like, maybe. But she was like, you know how cruel things could be or whatever, right? And so he says, yeah, you preaching to the choir, I get it. So, of course, you know, they excited. They ready to get this started. They like, are we going to fix this carburetor now? You know, Hollywood asking him what he know about a carburetor, and he over here spinning around and making noises and was like, you know, this is how it makes the engine go or whatever the case may be, right? So they super excited and cute and just, you know, ready to get into it. So he was like, all right, well, we got to go make this thing, you know, go vroom, vroom, right? So he told Vi, you know, he going to see her later, whatever the case may be. Then we have Ralph Angel and Darla go and check on the Queensugar mill. They looking at it and they just saying like, wow, she really did this, you know. And Darla was saying to him, like, this is something that runs in your family. All of y'all, you know, do y'all thing or whatever the case may be. You know, you're like that too. She was like, you know, you look at Charlie and the work she came here. You look at your father and everything he did for the land and the vision that he saw for the farm and the family. You look at Nova and how hard she works, and, you know, she goes for what she believes in and fighting with her activism and all of that kind of stuff. You know, even Micah, as young as he is, basically, you know, also fights for what he believes in and into, you know, his activism, and he's a go-getter. and with his photography and all of that kind of stuff, right? So she's just saying positive stuff about everybody. You know, Aunt Vi is a marvel, and she's endured, you know, after everything she's built. And she said, you right there with them. And he basically was like, listen, I'm looking at you too, right? And I feel special to know that you actually look at me, okay, and see me as something special, right? Because she was saying that they do this all with love and vision. And so I love seeing, you know, both of them picking each other up and saying positive things and putting positivity and love into each other, okay? You know, he was saying she's smart, she brave, she thoughtful, or whatever, right? And I really did love when he says, you know, I don't know where you get that mind from, but I see you, girl, okay? You out here doing stuff too, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful that someone likes you, see me, you know what I'm saying? Little old me. So I was like, I know that's right, y'all, okay? Feed into each other, all right? I'm here for it. So, you know, we basically see Billy coming over to Nova, and she's saying, you know, she haven't talked to Vince since he's been gone. She was in her mind spending all last night, and, you know, things is getting a little funny at the house, okay? As much as she loved her father and loved seeing him happy, you know, like him and Miss Sandy be wanting to bump and grind, and she don't be wanting to hear that, okay? She feeling like a third wheel now. So basically, Nova was like, well, listen, why don't you stay with me for a little while, girl? And she's like, really? She's like, yeah, Dominique's away anyway, a new environment, a friend to talk to, shoot. We would both be helping each other, whatever the case may be. And so she was like, wow, that's so gracious of you and generous of you, you know what I'm saying? Thank you. Like, yeah, I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, I wouldn't mind that. So, like I said, Nova's like, it's not generous because, you know, I'm kind of being greedy and wanting some, you know, company here too. So she says, yeah, I'll stay here for a bit, you know what I'm saying? So that looks like that may be something interesting, right? Because we know they had a little gap in their friendship and they just basically trying to come, you know, back together. So we got Avon, you know, she chilling with her queen, well, Ja Queen, however you say his name, in the daggone kitchen dancing, you know, they preparing the food, they getting ready to sit down to eat, and of course, the vibe got to be ruined, right? They can't even get a daggone moment of peace. Here come the social worker walking in the door, and little Don say, hurry up and hug Hollywood. You know, he like, come on, we just, you know what I'm saying, need to have a grown-up conversation. Y'all go to the room for a minute. And so when she come in, they like, you know, what's going on, what this is all about. Not that any of us is shocked. Of course, you know, basically by law, when there is an ex-felon living in the house, that complicates things. And so the application has been denied because Ralph Angel came back with his felon record, right? And even though he's doing good now, they don't want to look at that. That's not how the law, you know what I'm saying, works or whatever. And I was like, okay, lady, I get it. You coming to give the message, but you ain't have to be side-eyed and damn Ralph Angel while you was saying it. Like, they know he the damn ex-felon that's at the table. You know, he basically say that he gonna go ahead and put True down for a nap. And when he comes back to the table, he's like, well, what if I go? And she was like, listen, I don't make the rules, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in charge of nothing. Of course, Aunt Vi got to come in and check some things, because she was like, listen, you telling me that even though he has not gotten in trouble no more, whatever the case may be, he done came out and built a co-op. He's doing good. He even built a program up, you know what I'm saying, for ex-felons to help them to see their way through, or whatever the case may be, that none of that counts. And so, you know, here she comes talking about the most I could do is give y'all till Monday. You know, if he can be moved out by Monday, then they may reconsider, right? That it's hard to pull an application back and reverse it once they've already made a decision. And she was like, you know, she sees that this is a good home and stuff like that, but they don't make no exceptions when it comes to this, and her hands is tied. I say, y'all so full of crap. It's sad, you know, that stuff like that happens, but yet sometimes we will see these kids, you know, still with abusers, or where they have to be separated and everything else. So nonetheless, you know, they say they're going to work on that. And so in the meantime, you know, Nova's nervous. She's trying to get her dinner together. No, you know, Micah finally gets there, and he's kind of bigging her up and making excuses, like, as far as the book to the movie thing, right? And he's excited about it. And if we think about it, you know, Micah was one of the ones that was never really upset about it when everybody else was, when the situation first went down. But it was like, he over here trying to make extra excuses about it because he know what he done did as far as his mom pitching. So he was saying to her, like, oh, well, basically it's okay, and you was just telling your story how you saw it or whatever. But she was like, yeah, it wasn't just my story, and it didn't just affect me. And she was like, that's one way of looking at it, right? But now she wants to do things different. She wants to make sure she's including the family, having this discussion with them. And if everybody's not on board, even though she feels like she got the approval from her ancestors, she basically was like, I gotta get the approval for living people too, honey, not just the ones that have passed away. And so he was saying, yeah, this kind of makes me feel like the situation with my NFT, because I'm trying to tell my story and, take back my power or whatever, right? So she's like, okay, well, show it to me. What's going on, Michael? What you got? What you put out, honey? Baby, he decided to take that daggone picture out of Charlie on that damn court saying, what did you do? What did you do? You know what I'm saying? And she looking at it and she like, Michael, are you crazy? Did your mother see this? He was like, I don't think so. She was like, take that down now. And he was like, oh, well, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? This is the same thing like your book. And she was like, no, it's not. Because first of all, your mother and father is basically, have made amends and came back together, whatever the case may be. And this is their story. He's saying, well, I was there too. And I witnessed it too. And it was other people that were sharing it. So I took it back and I made it my own. But she's like, yeah, this wasn't your relationship though. This was your mother's relationship or whatever, right? And she was like, that's not cool. Take it down. And he do got a point to a certain degree. But at the same time, Michael, daggone well that this was not right. This is not what you should be doing. You selling yourself short to be in with these guys, and I'm not getting it. It's not about the money, because you come from a family of money. You could be getting money from your mother or your father. So obviously it don't have nothing to do with that. And you actually have good, photography pictures that you take. You're literally lowering yourself to be down with these guys, Zane and them. And I'm trying to understand it, but I really don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't. And so, he's saying that he making it his and all of this. But then when Nova said that to him, you could clearly see that he's like, oh God, what did I do? So now when he trying to delete, it's not even saying try again later. It's telling him he can't delete it at all. More people have seen it. More people are, bidding on it or whatever. So now he calls the guy Zane and he tells him to go ahead and take it down. And the guy's like, I'll see what I could do. But he was like, that's impossible. He was like, people are loving it. People are bidding on it. And once they bid on it, there's nothing I could do. At this point, Vi and them got there with the boys, her, Hollywood, and the boys. And she say, Ralph Angel will be there in a bit. And she sees that, Mike is a little out of it. And he say, give him a minute or whatever. And then she asking Nova, what's this exciting news, girl, that you got? Okay, she was like, is there a bun in the oven? I don't see no ring on the finger. That made me laugh because, of course, the aunties, grandmothers, or whoever's always going to think that's the first things. So Nova was like, no, but I do want all of y'all to be here because this is something that I need to talk to all of y'all about, okay? And so, she's like, okay. So, of course, she's super nervous to go ahead and get into this conversation, but she knows it's something that she needs to do. Now, in the meantime, as freaking Darla is coming in, she get a call. Now, please tell me, okay, why Chase is calling her. Why are you calling her? Y'all apparently have not spoken in years. You've never reached out to her. You never noticed anything about her or her life before. But now all of a sudden, what was the chick name? Rosalind or whatever, whoever the hell she was, the fake friend that saw her at the table, apparently went back to tell her about seeing Darla and the conversation they had, which she's trash. Obviously, she was never a friend, okay? Trifling. And it's like, did she give Chase the number? I'm still confused as how he got her number. And he want to call and talk about some, oh, I'm running for office now and I'm a family man. I'm hearing that you going around telling people things about me and I'm not going to stand for that, or whatever the case may be. And I didn't understand why Darla didn't just, hang the heck up. She had answered at first because she was like, I think this is the preschool. I don't now see, they didn't show us whether, his number or ID or anything came up on the phone. So he was like, talking about some, I thought I would reach out and say hello myself. This is Chase Livingston. And he was like, you and I both know what really happened back in the days. And for you to be trying to spin the story a different way, now he was like, you quiet now, but you had a whole lot to say to Jordan. That was her name, Jordan. So he's like, you know it was consensual and all this other kind of stuff. So he wanted to tell her about he a family man and I need you to stop your shit right now. And she just was like, look, don't ever call me again. Do not ever call me again. And I'm saying, Darla, number one, record this conversation. Number two, block his ass. And number three, tell the family what is going on immediately, girl. But of course, she don't do that. And he's saying this is over as she hang up the daggone phone, right? So now she looking like she about to damn hyperventilate and have a damn panic attack or whatever, right? And of course, this is going to make it even worse for Nova to sit here and bring up this whole book thing right now. And we literally seeing her looking at this damn wine bottle like she ready to, drink that down in 2 seconds. So they finally done ate dinner. They got the itis and... Nova just lets them know, like, look, I know how much damage the book did. I know all the mistakes that I made and how I hurt y'all in the past or whatever. And I don't want to ever go down that path again. So I had to come to y'all and let y'all know that they actually want to turn Blood and Blessings into a movie or whatever the case may be, right? I got an offer about it. And, it's not my right without hearing y'all and acknowledging y'all feelings to, do something. And I see the mistake that I made, back then with that. And so Vi is like, well, good, baby, go ahead, get it out, what's going on. So when she told him, Vi is pretty much like, listen, you're right. This started out so bad. It brought up so much bad feelings, bad thoughts, and everything with the family. They're all shocked to hear, like, a movie, a real movie, And she was like, but unless the whole family gives me a blessing, I'm not going to move forward with it. And so, Aunt Vi's pretty much like, look, it caused us a lot of pain and all of that. But she was like, the flip side of it is it also let us deal with a lot of things. And, excuse me, y'all. And it, also let us air out a lot of dirty secrets and it let us deal with a lot of things. And it also gave us time to heal. So as far as Aunt Vi is concerned, she's like, I don't see why not. It's already out there, whatever the case may be, And she telling her, like, guess who wants to play you? And she's like, Oprah. I said, not Oprah, girl, okay? And they was like, the Oprah? Like, wait a minute, most of them getting excited. The only ones that's not really saying anything is Micah because he thinking about what the heck he did. And then Darla, and, Hollywood talking about some Idris Elba could play him or whatever, and then she's giving them all how much they want, to offer her, giving them all a sheet of how much they trying to offer her for the story and saying each person would get a piece, you know what I'm saying? And so Ralph Angel's like, yo, this could be a house, this could be something to go towards the co-op, and they all kind of laughing, and baby, Darla just was like, no. What are you thinking? I said no. I said no. I said no. I said no. I said, all right now, Darla. And it kind of threw everybody off guard because, they all was in another space with it for a minute, right? And Ralph Angel was about to go after her, but then Vi was like, Nova, you go. And so when she got in the room with her, she just was like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? She was like, how much I went through when you put out this book. How I, basically backslid and fell into a whole nother space. She was like, leave me alone. And she's telling her, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. But Darla was just in her freaking feelings at this moment. She said, you ruined my life and you want, forgiveness. I relapsed because of you. She was like, are you that selfish? You think I would be okay with a movie? And, Nova's telling her, I said I wouldn't do it without your permission. She was like, I just want to keep these things in the past. I want to let it go out. Why you bringing it back? She was like, I want me and Ralph Angel to be able to move on. Do you really think I would want to see myself passed out and messed up and have some, actors basically in costumes pretending to be me and, having the part where Hollywood found me passed out and all this other stuff? Like, did you think how I would feel to know that that's out there and people are looking for it, looking at it over and over for Blue and for True to see it and different things of that nature? And she was like, all the shit you said or whatever the case may be, and now it would be something that could be rewound and streamed and for people, for years and years and years. Like, that's what you think I would want, And I get it. She's making a valid point. And at the end of the day, you know, when these Lifetime stories are put out there, right, especially those that are not with the person's, you know, permission, this is something that they do have to face. These are real people that's behind those real stories. And so what she's saying here is not a lie. And she has every right to feel the way that she feels. She got every right to speak for herself and to say no. But at the same time, I feel like this really was not actually about what, you know, Nova was trying to ask them. This was more so the timing of it and the fact that she already got this guy Chase calling her. Like, it was the cherry on top, in other words, right? It wasn't really the whole issue. The guy, you know, Charlie is out here reaching out to her. Not Charlie, what the heck is his name? Chase is out here reaching out to her, making threats and all of this. And on top of that, now, you know, this is being brought up when she's feeling like they put it behind them. And so I do appreciate that Nova listened to her. She heard her out. She let her yell and scream and cry, whatever she needed to do. And she was like, okay, no problem. If you're saying no, then I'm going to make sure that you ain't got nothing out there. And she sat down and she held her and she let her cry on her. And I think that that shows growth, you know, in Nova as well, because she didn't do it the right way originally with the book, right? But now we got damn Micah going backwards, and I'm like saying, Micah, with everything you see happening with the damn family, you really, like, seriously, your timing is off too, because he then goes and he's yelling and screaming, telling, you know, Mr. What's the hell is his name, y'all? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The head of the daggone NFT place or whatever, right? His name will come back to me. But he's telling him, like, yo, you got to take that down. I told you to take it down. And he's like, no, I told you that I would try to take it down or whatever, right? But it's already too late. And the minute he telling Micah, like, oh, well, you done made us, you know, the most money. You done put our company on the map and, you know, you done made all this money. Micah, it only took 2 seconds. As soon as he said that, Micah's like, for real? He's just so open and so thirsty about it. And like I said, I'm confused because it's not like Micah needs it like that. You know, oh, they want to fly us on a first-class jet. Like, haven't Micah already been on first-class jets and been in limousines and stuff? So that's not nothing new for him. If anything, that's something that Zane, that's his name, told y'all would come back to me. That's something that's more beneficial to Zane. Like he said, you put our company on the map. And my thing is, Micah could do this on his own, like I said, with his own stuff. He did not need it to do it this way with his mom's stuff. You know what I'm saying? Putting her business in the street like that all over again to make her have to relive something. And the fact that you acting like right now, Micah, you acting trash, I'm sorry to tell you, and you're acting like you're trying to sell your damn soul to the devil right about now. You know, obviously this guy Zane is only using you for what you can get them. And other than that, he don't want to be bothered for you, and you falling for the okie doke is really irritating my spirit, y'all, okay, to say the least. And so it was like 2 seconds later, once he started telling him, like, yo, look at these numbers and we doing good. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand what you so upset about. We should be, you know, celebrating. You can't bury this and all this kind of stuff. Is the largest sell in the company's history. And he telling him some congrats, man. Look at it. Sports into CNN, Fox, Twitter. Everybody wants a piece or whatever. You did it. You know, all of a sudden, Michael like, oh, word? You know, 2 seconds after saying, my parents is going to kill me. And he was saying, well, other people always like to take our pain or whatever, right? At least you're owning it. It wasn't like if this wasn't out there. And, of course, he going to say whatever he have to say to basically, you know, have Micah get on board. And he just was like, for real? And he like, yeah, bro, they want to fly us on jets and let's have this drink and all of this. So that just irritated me, okay? Now, in the meantime, Hollywood and Vibes, of course, trying to figure out this situation. What's the best thing they could do? How they could help, you know, Darla and Ralph. How they also could help these boys. You know, what's the middle ground? And they decide that they could go ahead and rent out the apartment for Darla and Ralph, right? Put it in their names and pay the first deposit. But Ralph and Darla done went out and found this cute little spot of their own, honey. And Ralph kept it real. He told her, like, miss, I got a pass. You know, I got in trouble, but I'm a good man now. I'm doing what I got to do. You know, I haven't been in any more trouble. I'm with this farming, and I work on a fish boat. And, you know, she was like, look, my husband had his time, too. And she said, I could look inside and see, you know, real people or whatever, right? And look into their eyes and be able to see if they're good people. And that's what I see when I look at y'all. Plus, you got this queen right here. So she tells him, long as y'all come with my daggone rent money, I'm good with it, okay? And, you know, they was telling her they would treat this place like it's their own. So I said, yes, Ralph and Darla, like, I'm happy that, you know, they were able to get a moment of peace amongst all this craziness. Now, in the meantime, Nova is telling her damn publisher, whatever, this damn lady, that she cannot do, you know what I'm saying, this book. Her family said no. She was like, she still didn't hear back from Charlie, and one person said no. The lady's still going on and on and on. Oh, well, I'm going to give you a little bit more time. I'm going to wait a little bit because I feel like you jumping the gun and you sure you want to turn down, you know what I'm saying, that much money. I mean, we could cut the story out. Who was it? Because it may be something where we could work around that and that part of the story don't have to be told and all this other crap. Because, of course, all she thinking about is the dime. It's not going to make no difference to her. But even if, you know, Nova is even going to consider that, that means she still have to go back to the family and have the conversation again. And more than likely, she not going to want to do that, especially after, you know, how upset she seemed that it made Darla. Like, is it really worth it to go around her and not tell that part of the story to just still do this when there's probably other things that you could be doing or something else that's going to come up for you later? I don't know, child, but, you know, we shall see. And that kind of pissed me off because I was like, no is no, miss. Like, you told her you was going to wait and see what she said. She said no, that's the end of it. And so, in the meantime, the boys was trying to sneak out of here because, of course, they scared about, you know, being placed somewhere else or whatever. And they tiptoeing out with their bags saying they don't want to do it. And Hollywood was like, where y'all think y'all going, okay? Next time, try, you know, sneaking out at night, honey. Night on broad daylight. He was sitting right outside that door. And he told them, y'all don't gotta go nowhere, okay? Ralph, Angel, and Darla already found their place. So y'all gonna go ahead and stay here with us. You know, when I say something, I keep my word. And all I can say is God bless, you know, Aunt Vi and Hollywood. I love them more and more and more and more, okay? And especially Aunt Vi, because she reminds me of my aunt, you know what I'm saying, in real life. So it seemed like, you know, they got a little bit of a break. And then we had, you know, Nova and Billy hanging out in the bar, honey. And, you know, she like, wait a minute, Mr. Trumpet man over here looking at us. Come on, girl. And she like, you know, get up for a minute. I know you still got those moves. You know, let's do it like we used to do it back in the old days. And Billy like, let me see if I can still, you know, move these bones. And they talking about 5, 6, 7, 8, pop, you know, pop it to the side and all this other stuff, make it stink or whatever. And so they was all giggly and cute or whatever, but she was telling her, like, girl, shoot your shot. He's still looking. You know, she telling her to look, and she over here, like, so she was like, you know, why don't you go home with him? She was like, girl, what kind of, you know, girl you think I am? She was like, and he probably got mad cologne on. She said, well, scrub that off, okay, take a shot. She was like, girl, I wouldn't even know what to do. She was like, number one, it's been so long, okay, a long time. And number two, you know, besides me and Vince, and, you know, Nova, like, wait a minute, girl, wait a minute, what? Vince has been your one and only, like, your first and only, and so she was like, well, is that a bad thing? She was like, no judgment, it's just a little different, you know what I'm saying? That's a short list that can be fixed, though. So she was asking Nova, like, how many you have, girl? Nova said, child, you don't want to know, okay? I done lost count, it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? So they both laughing about that. But then Miss, you know, Billy pulls her card because she was like, wait a minute, well, you know, have you seen Miss Camille? Okay, that was your first crush, so Nova ain't want to talk then. She just wanted to sip her drink. She was like, let's see, you know, if she's still in town. So she's like, what are you doing? She started looking up on her phone, and she was like, don't worry about what I'm doing. So she's like, she's like, you found her? So she gives it to her, and Nova just all lost in it, honey. She looking at that phone like, you know, and flipping through the pictures, and then, you know, here come this guy walking over, and he asked, you know, can they dance or whatever? And Billy was like, why not? You know, she get up and she danced with him. And meanwhile, you know, Nova continued to flick through, honey, and she was stuck. She was stuck. I ain't gonna lie. I said, wait a minute, are we gonna, you know, knock Dominique out the way for Miss Camille? So we got, you know, freaking Micah still in the damn limo with this freaking guy. And in the meantime, his father's texting him saying, call me immediately. His mom is calling him. He's ignoring her calls. I said, Michael, you really pissing me off. You really pissing me the hell off, you know. We got Darla and Ralph. They happy to be in their own space. They like, you know, we didn't really think about it before, but honey, we ain't got to wait for the bathroom. We got our own fridge. You know, we ain't got nobody bothering us, and they want to kiss and all of that. But then baby True started crying. They was like, Zach, that's the part we forgot. Okay, usually Aunt Vi was coming through and, you know what I'm saying, being the nanny with her. So he like, you know, I'm going to go get her, whatever. And she's like, okay, you know, they just trying to relax, relate, release, right, and have as much a peace of mind as they can. And I'm like, yes, please let them. But of course, no. The phone rings again. Of course, freaking Darla ass still ain't freaking blocked this number. She's sitting here answering it. Hello? So now he want to tell her, you know, I told you it wasn't going to be over, whatever the case may be, you know, hey, how you doing or whatever, right? I told you that that wasn't going to just be the way that it ends. And he's basically, I think he called her Sparkle. He didn't even call her, you know, Darla. And she's saying, like, didn't I tell you not to call me back again? Like, girl, you already know he ain't going to listen to that once he got started. And he basically feel like, you know, he got the upper hand and he could scare you and threaten you or whatever the case may be. You know how the hell that story goes. So, nonetheless, no, I think he said my star. And she was like, I told you to leave me alone. And he was like, well, I picked up a copy of Blessings in Blood. You know what I'm saying? A filthy little book that's full of lies. And she's, again, I told you to leave me alone. Okay? And he basically was like, you think that I'm going to let some crackhead slut ruin my life? I will take you and your family down. And you better watch your. And she just basically hung up in mid-sentence. And again, I'm yelling at the TV. Darla, tell them what is going on. Tell the family what is happening so they can help you, girl. Do not think you could do this by your daggone self. That was the episode, y'all. What do y'all think is going to happen, honey? I'm worried. Put it in the comments. Let's discuss, okay? Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you were so inclined, give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the comments, okay, y'all? I'll talk to y'all later. Toodaloo.